Welcome to our UltraLift instructional video. Here, we'll take you through the step-by-step instructions on how to install your new UltraLift cover lifter. Let's look at what's in the box. As soon as you open the new UltraLift box, you'll find two component bags, one with the fasteners you'll need, and the other with the 4 pivot brackets and your safety pin. Next, we see a pair of mounting brackets. These are 2-piece mounting brackets consisting of a top and bottom. Finally, we have 2 corner supports, 1 center pole, 2 pivot arms, and 2 slider arms. For this installation, we will need the following tools: a level, tape measure, wrench, ratchet, and a drill. And you should be aware that you will need 2 people to complete step 4 of the installation. Here, we will assemble the 2-piece mounting brackets. You're going to use the smaller chrome lock nuts to fasten the 2-piece bracket together. Make sure to fully tighten the nuts. And repeat the assembly for the second bracket. There are typically 3 options when deciding where to place the mounting bracket: a top mount, lower mount, or a deck mount. For this application, we have elected to go with the lower mount. The lower mount will make it slightly easier to remove the cover, and the cover will sit a little lower. This will require a little more space for the cover, but this will be no problem for this application. You should place the bracket close to the back of the tub just before the radius corner starts. Use a level to keep the bracket straight. Then proceed to mark the holes. We recommend pre-drilling with a 1/16 drill bit to prevent splitting of the wood. Now, fasten the mounting bracket using the 1-inch wood screws provided. Once this is completed, do the other side, making sure to keep the same height and position. Place the slider arm between 2 pivot brackets with the longer flat edge of the bracket on the bottom and facing the way you see here. Connect together using 2 bolts and 2 hex nuts. You want the nuts facing the tub on each slider arm, so you should prepare them with the nut sides facing each other like you see here. This is where you will need an adjustable or 9/16" ratchet and/or wrench. Next, we'll place the pivot arm between the same 2 pivot brackets, lining up the larger holes. Feed 1 2-inch bolt through the top of the bracket, the pivot arm, and the other bracket, and secure using the 3/8 lock nut. Do not over-tighten. This should only be tight enough to hold the nut on, and is not meant to squeeze the pivot arm. Now, do the other side. This is a good time to test and make sure the pivot arm moves freely. That's good. Now, you are ready to slide the square slider arm into the mounting bracket with the pivot bracket just past the back of the tub. You will need 2 people to complete this step properly. You want to insert the shorter ends of the 2 corner support arms into the center pole. And check that you have equal distance on each side. From here, you will insert the longer end of the corner support arms into the pivot arms. Then, make sure everything is still centered. Next, align the center pole about 1 inch from the center of the cover. Now, you will start to fasten everything together, starting with the center pole. Please notice we are using the cardboard box to protect the cover from damage while drilling. Make sure the center pole holes are parallel to the cover before drilling. If they are not, the screw heads could damage your cover. Keep about 1½ inch of space between the cover and the side arm, then pre-drill and secure one side of the center pole using the self-tapping screws. Next, confirm you have 1½ inch of space on the other side, then pre-drill and secure with a screw. Finally, secure all the remaining screws on both sides. That completes the center pole. Now, keeping the 1 inch distance from the center of the cover, secure the two slider arms to the two brackets with one screw on each side. Then secure the pivot arms the same way, by pre-drilling and then using the self-tapping screws, starting with one screw on each side. Now, you test the position of the cover in the open position. Looks good. So now you fully secure the pivot arms and sliding brackets with the remaining screws. Now that that's done, place a plastic end cap in the bottom of each pivot arm. Then place cover caps over any exposed nuts or bolts. To secure the cover in the open position, place the hook pin in the bottom of the pivot bracket and through the pivot arm. You can store the pin in the front hole of the bracket when the cover is closed. There you have it, the UltraLift Cover Lifter.